Hey Naruto fans, today we are going to review chapter 608, Kakashi's Decision. Honestly, it is not as exciting as I expected after a 2 week break. There's too much trash talking and not much new going on. There's no surprise, no interesting stuff whatsoever. Basically, Kakashi and Toby are fighting against each other, and Obi used his eye to suck Kakashi into the other dimension, and Kakashi used his eye to escape, as you and I expected because Kakashi helped Naruto enter the other dimension before. But you know what? I don't think the one escaped into the real world should be the real Kakashi. Because if it is the real Kakashi, then it is so stupid for Obito to suck Kakashi into the other dimension at the first place. Well, let me back up. Obito is stupid enough to suck Kakashi into his dimension regardless of what Kakashi really did, okay? Why? Here's why. Because Obito knew that Kakashi has the capability of entering and returning from the other dimension, as already demonstrated earlier when Naruto successfully attacked Obito by entering his dimension with Kakashi's help, right? So sucking Kakashi into the other dimension is a very stupid move. Why? Because Obito used this other dimension frequently in order to avoid obstacles or any attacks. Therefore, if Kakashi is actually sucked into Obito's other dimension, then whenever Obito enters his other dimension for whatever reason to avoid obstacles, to avoid attacks, then Kakashi in the other dimension could easily make the attack to attack Obito, right? So basically, Obito's other dimension, which was presumably a safe world for Obito, would become not safe because Kakashi is in the other dimension. So it was such a stupid move that Obito sucked Kakashi into the other dimension. So I don't really understand why would Obito suck Kakashi into his dimension at the first place. Now, regardless of Obito's stupid move of sucking Kakashi into the other dimension, I'm just wondering why is it in the manga? The fact that Obito sucked Kakashi and Kakashi escaped that dimension was plotted in the manga should have some purpose, right? If we haven't read the earlier chapters, then the purpose could be that it's telling us that Kakashi and Obito share the same eye and they are both able to enter and return from the other dimension. But we knew that. We have read all the previous chapters and we knew this already. So why is it repeated here? So I think there is another reason. A reasonable guess is that the real Kakashi is actually still in Obito's other dimension, and he will do something in the other dimension in the following chapters when Obito trying to avoid something and enter into the other dimension. And if what I guessed is not the case, then I just think these meaningless moves of Obito and Kakashi should really not be in the manga at the first place. It is such a waste of spaces in the manga. Well, unless the purpose is really just to waste some spaces for the manga. And talking about waste of space in the manga, you know what? There are actually a lot of spaces wasted when Kakashi and Toby are criticizing about who is trash and what is worse than trash. And I don't even want to get started on that. It is totally pointless. Why? According to Obito, what Obito said in this chapter is that everyone who is living in this world is trash. If that is really the case, then no one should be bothered about being a trash, since everyone else is a trash. So why should bother? But apparently, Kakashi does care, and he admitted that he is trash, but he insisted that he is not worse than trash. Why? Because he said that he is protecting his friend Naruto, so he thinks he is not worse than trash. I mean, come on! I would expect more from Kakashi than making these silly arguments and trying to prove himself not worse than trash in front of Obito. It's such a naive argument. What are you to do? What are you trying to do, Obito? Kakashi? Are you trying to convince Obito that you are not worse than trash? So you should not be killed? So Obito should stop the war just because you are not worse than trash? Come on, don't be so naive. If Obito can be convinced to stop the war just by what Kakashi said, or what Kakashi is about to say in the next chapters, then I would be very, very, very disappointed. I mean, it is possible that the little Obito is manipulated by Madara when he was young, and that when he was young. But now he is old enough. He should have pretty firm standing of his own value system. It would make no fucking sense if Obito can still be brainwashed so easily now. So man, what a waste of space on trash talking. There's so many trash talking in this chapter. No more this trash talking, no more, okay? Now let's go back to the manga. Currently, B is trapped in the trees formed by Madara that sucks his chakra. So B can't really do anything right now. And then, as expected, when chakra doesn't work, Guy would come in handy. So at the end of the manga, Guy attacked Madara using his taijutsu. I have no comments on that. That's pretty much expected from Guy. He would do things like that. And this chapter pretty much just stopped there. I just hope there would be more interesting or exciting moments in the next chapter. I hopefully there's some surprises. This chapter has no surprise, no interesting stuff, no exciting stuff at all. It's just so boring. It's totally a waste of 2 weeks expectation. Alright? I hope there's something more next week. Alright? See you next week.